Call to order. it would set up really fast, but.
Alright, we're good.
Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome. First meeting of the year. Signature folder. We had one yield tax levy for $226.28 for timber cut. I think that was all together. And two requests for timber cuts. We also had a Revenue Administration Property Bureau for a data certificate for Effingham. This is through Avatar, which should have been done about a month ago, right? So, got that signed off. And got the minutes. Make a motion to approve the manifest dated December 31st, 2024 in the amount of $27,392.54.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion to approve the manifest dated January 9th, 2025 in the amount of $31,512.07.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Make a motion to approve the Board of Selectmen minutes dated December 23rd, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mail. Received a letter from 68 Hours of Hunger. Appreciation for the donation we're gonna do through the town. Part of the nonprofit groups. We also got the notice from the lawyers, Drummond and Woodson, their fees for 2025.
Hourly's going up.
I can't believe.
It does every year.
Like, I was telling JT, it's like what they're getting paid versus like what my wife was getting paid, put patients in their hand, you know, it's like this bullshit. Sorry.
But in the dictionary, you can say it public.
Can we talk with Shelby? So,
No,
yeah,
that's an internal thing, I would
yeah,
think.
yeah,
You think so, Chuck?
Internal.
internal. You got Rebecca coming in?
You want me to text her right now?
Yeah, please. Well, we can start with one of the selection reports.
Yep, mine's fairly quick.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Planning board meeting, at the last meeting, we basically pulled together the final elements of some zoning updates and the public hearing date of the 16th and the 23rd of this month. Basically, they're clarifications and definitions and things like that. There's no new real policy elements. I pretty much have the historic town hall annual report ready to go to Caitlin. And I worked on all the paperwork and cost of insurance and things like that, or certificate of insurance rather, for the $20,000 State Council on the Arts grant that we received in the latter part of December. That's due this week and it's in, so.
Thank you, Chuck. Chris, short?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I wrote it down, so, been working a lot on the road projects for 2025 and, what I call option A, which is the bond, which is gonna be coming up. We're gonna be having the bond hearing and stuff and having further conversation and public input on that. Given the heavy winds and things like that, I've been doing a lot of road checks along with the road agent, or in tandem with the road agent. There were times when we were both out there and didn't realize it till we bumped into each other or talked on the phone. I did notice in my travels there, I know it's very cold, obviously this week in particular, it's extremely cold and it's a difficult task, but the dirt roads, because of the warm weather and the rain, and then it set up, some of the dirt roads are very, very potholy and very, very rough.
I mean, like Hunter's Bridge Road?
Huntress Bridge Road is almost impassable.
I don't think I've ever seen it as bad as it is.
It's almost to the point where, I actually had a resident say you should just put blockades on both ends of it and shut it down. It is brutal. If the weather comes off warm next week, I don't know how you gentlemen feel about addressing it. What we've done in the past is we've gotten some material and gone up there and some gravel or stone and try to take the curse off it, if we wanna try to do that. If it warms up at all, see what Kevin thinks about it, but
If we threw some gravel on it and leveled it out and it froze up again, that might get us through the winter.
yeah. Just if we can get a hold of gravel, cause I know gravel
That's true too, yeah.
piles or, most of the gravel pits aren't, the crushers really aren't running, but, Ron may have some, or at least be able to get into it, I would think. We've had success in Ospey before getting gravel from them, so, maybe do the same, but I didn't wanna just say go ahead without having the conversation first, but I think we have to do something to keep that road open. It's
I
bad.
haven't been on it, so I don't know.
Oh, it's, if you go more than 3 miles an hour and then your car is just doing nothing but bouncing back and forth anyway,
Yeah,
Okay.
it's real bad.
and they're deep.
Yeah, I mean, majority of them are pretty good, I know that, I've definitely seen a lot worse than the Plantation Road, and again, that's caused by the salt being carried off and, the pavement, and, cause once you get, 150 yards up the road, it's not that bad.
Right.
The road's set up, but it's that, the traffic carries the salt, so that helps soften it up.
Well, we had a warm spell, then we get the cold spell,
Right.
worms, cold.
Alright, well, I'll have a conversation with Kevin and we'll see
Yeah.
what our options are.
Okay.
Okay. And also, unfortunately, I always seem to be the one that brings the condolences of residents in town that have passed. Unfortunately, I had two that have passed recently. One I've known for my entire life so far. Ray Supinard passed away. And also Kathy Baraboo, who volunteered at the elementary school years ago. Was a retired nurse, and known her for many, many years, and our condolences to their family members. And, on that, I'll,
Good?
yep.
Alright, we'll jump right to Rebecca.
Jump. Here I am.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
What do you got for us?
That's usual, quite a short report this month. Has one typo in it, which I caught as I was looking at it, and I'll fix it in the permanent records. But issued 5 permits. Not much activity going on. Things have been very slow. The only thing was I did follow up on the Morris Avenue property. I put them back on the active list. I called and spoke to Ms. Eldridge, and they haven't done anything. I can't say that I'm really terribly surprised. I don't know what the excuses are, but what I said to her, I don't have a phone number for her gentleman. And so what I said to her was that he was gonna have to come back in front of the Board of Selectmen and make some kind of a pitch,
So how long is this permit good for?
end of this month.
End of this month, yeah.
Yeah, you gave him a 3 months extension, and it was still, it was late fall, but it was still fall. And what we were expecting of them was progress on getting a wetlands, at least map, if nothing else. I mean, I wasn't suggesting they needed to have gotten wetlands permits or state this or that or the other. Just a wetlands engineer out there to map what, the condition on the ground based on what the previous owner had done. And what the setbacks were going to need to be for any future building. And they were also going to get a septic design.
Nothing.
Assuming they wanted to stay there, the path that I gave them was you get a septic design, you get the septic design approved, then we can give you a 1-year residency for the RV. I mean, this is not my favorite path, with some people, it's a perfect path. For other people, it may just seem like it's, delaying the whatever. But it is a path that we do allow, that if you have a building design and a septic permit and a building plan, that you can get a 1-year occupancy of your RV. But they were not even able to follow through on that. So I'm not sure what we can do. And I think if we got into a detailed discussion of what we would do, it would need to be non-public, quite honestly, given the situation, equal financial health issues involved. But that's a heads up on where that is. You would instruct me to reach out to them, and I did, and,
Okay.
and I haven't heard, that's when I called her, and I got it on there, 12/17. That was when I spoke to her on the phone, and I haven't heard anything back, and I assume that you haven't gotten a call from the gentleman saying, can I come and meet with the Board of Selectmen and discuss our situation, so.
Okay,
That's the only exciting thing that's happened this month.
okay, thank you. On the first one, 31620, lot 412-74, we'd like to have that removed. That's been cleaned up.
Okay,
And
that's been cleaned
Uh-huh.
up legally as well?
we got a paper for you.
Yes.
Okay,
So we'll sign it.
super, okay. Yeah, if you pass that on to me, I will take it off. It would sort of be on my, whatever, and these things.
Is the health officer apprised of the Morris Ave situation?
He and I've had conversations about it.
Okay.
I don't know that he's gone out.
I know I've seen some Facebook posts looking for alternative means of heating the camper and things like that.
It's just,
Get them in here,
thank you very much for,
I know
get them
that,
in here,
makes it,
discussion.
that was one of the things we brought up the night he came in, was, are you gonna be able to heat it and things like that, and they felt that they
well,
would,
my
but,
God, this weather we're having,
yeah.
I mean, I've
So how
got
do we, bring,
regular and backup heat in a modern house and I'm struggling a little bit.
how do we bring them in?
How do we bring them in?
You want us,
I've got a phone number for her. I don't have a phone number for him.
we have a mailing address?
Yes, we do have a mailing address. The mailing address is actually, that place where she was living before she bought the property. Because legally, we can't give a RV permit to someone.
Okay, so we have two avenues to go to it, so
So
can you
I-
provide that to Caitlin?
I will provide Caitlin with all the contact info I have. And I'll dig around and see if I ever got a phone call from him. But I didn't have a record anywhere of a phone number.
Okay, so,
Personally, I would like to do both options.
that's what I'm looking
Send a
at,
letter for paper backup
And a
and
paper,
also
yes.
just give a heads up for a phone call.
and that should be a register.
Yeah, and, it's not that far down the road. I mean, asking someone to stop by and,
Well, we can always have Tyler drop it
Yeah.
off too.
That's what we've done in the past.
Yeah. so.
Okay, have Tyler do it. Okay, alright,
Because, she gave me the Green Mountain Road address, I think it's 222 Green Mountain Road, where she had been renting before, as the mailing address. And said that she had spoken to the owner of the property for getting mail there, but
It since has changed hands. That property just recently sold.
yeah. So I suspect that she doesn't really have a mailing address.
so we'll have Tyler deliver it.
Yeah.
Chris, do you wanna bring up about, you wanted to ask her a question on, campgrounds?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, in the years past, are you aware, I know this doesn't fall underneath the zoning, it's more on the assessing side. Take Osprey Lake Campground as an example, and I'm gonna use Caitlin's example. So 2024, I owned lot 1 and the camper that was on it, or I leased lot 1 and the camper park
Okay.
hall that was on it.
Yeah.
And then I conveyed that to Chuck in 2025,
The camper,
the camper.
yeah.
In years past, are you aware that David ever went out to verify that took place, or?
I think that he did, and I've talked to Mark a little bit about it.
Yep,
the menu.
yep.
It started way back when they changed the assessing system. Soon after I got here, it seemed, from, assessing the property to the campground and assessing the camper to the owner. And so we went to, 92 property cards for a campground besides the one mega card for the land itself. But I thought, I was under the impression that David and, the couple of town clerks before, current, had actually had a communication about that. They had done an update, either annually or in the fall and the spring, with what was on the campsites and who owned it. Because I remember David having some kind of a data sheet that was separate from what, the town clerk's office had, where he was verifying. And as I said, I talked to Mark about that, and I said, we need to have that information flow working. And he said, oh yes, cause I used to do X, Y, and Z. And
Who's Mark?
Mark
He's the
Garland,
manager of the property.
campground manager. And he's already reached out, sometime in the last month or so, he's reached out to Shelby about, getting to know her and making sure that the lines of communication are open for that kind of thing as well.
So all three campgrounds have the same process, I mean, one tax deed for the whole property, then every individual lot has a camper, whatever it's.
I don't know about Jolly Roger,
Jolly Roger does
because
not.
those are
Jolly
not,
Roger does not.
because those aren't campers, so the building, the structures don't come and go.
Oh, okay.
So whatever is going on down there, I've been down there once in my almost 20 years here. But yeah, Remick Road and English,
Yep.
dating myself here, obviously. It's the system that is set up, that the campground owner pays the taxes on the land, and the unit owner pays the taxes on the unit.
Okay,
And I remember David making that point once with someone down at Remick Road Campground, which is said, you're behind in your taxes, and I can just come down here with my truck and take your RV and haul it off and take it away.
who said this?
David,
Well,
I wanted to see that, I thought that was great. But anyway, I mean, point made, which is that the owners of the campground weren't responsible for paying the taxes on that camper. The camp-
But so herein lies the problem, when that scenario happens, who's ultimately we're responsible, but without being there on a daily basis. And the example that I gave is the end of 2024, and we're starting a new year, so that'd be like a year, that'd be an easy thing. But if that type of scenario happened multiple times throughout a year cycle, how are we supposed to get that information? Because we don't have a field person that
Right, but
goes,
here's the question, that is a deed for a piece of property, granted it's a RV, it's not that changes hands. Where is that information in the legal? I mean, we get the deeds from the registry that tell us that property has changed hands.
is there a deed for a camper?
Well,
There's not, right?
No, it's like a lease agreement, like an agreement between the campground and the.
no, the person who owns the camper has a deed of ownership, and when they sell it, they have a deed that shows that they sold it to someone else.
Is it a deed or is it a bill of sale?
oh, wait a minute, can you answer that?
I've been providing,
So,
This is
well,
Andrea,
usually it's a camper,
like
and-
Jolly Rogers,
Yeah, well, or.
Whatever.
Yeah, well, cause I get calls all the time and they're like, I no longer have that site. And Chad and Shelby and I had conversations about putting it back on to the campground. Like, they're responsible, the owners who had it, who were conveying it to someone else, it's their responsibility to bring it to the campground, let them be aware what the date is. And then the campground ultimately then would let us know
okay,
who's responsible. But they don't come in to register anything because, and that's why they're getting taxed on it, because instead of registering it, then they get taxed on it. But there's no like conveying of a
Deed.
deed or yeah, anything like that.
Unless there's
Just
a
like
building,
selling a
unless
car.
there's a building on the lot.
It's like selling a car,
Correct.
essentially, cause you register it, but if you put a
It's like-
porch on it and you can't readily move it,
Yeah.
then it becomes a fixed structure that gets taxed, but it doesn't get deeded, it gets a bill of sale. Like a park model and a camper get bills of sale.
Yeah. So the process that has to be established between the campground and the campground manager and actually not you, but assessing, because then you get the information.
Yeah,
Is that every time a new
Owner,
camper owner takes up a space, they need to provide the information over to us that there is this new piece of taxable property on land in Effingham.
I think we need to contact the owner, get him in here. We got it,
The owners, yeah,
the owner, yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna contact 20 to 30 different.
Mo and Curly
individuals.
and, what's his name? Yeah, those three guys.
Did-
Get them up here from Boston.
Did you ever see it, David had to have some kind of a tracking form,
Tracking form, I don't know.
or like an Excel sheet or something like that?
Yeah, he had an Excel sheet. My understanding, my memory is that he had an Excel sheet of all the campsites
Yeah,
that are there with what was on it. I think this is something that Avatar, I'm putting you where you do the taxes, but it would be a conversation that you might wanna have Shelby and even your new
assessing company.
assessing company do, which is how does Avatar pop out a list of all the campsites and what is on them in Excel in list format, as opposed to page after page after page,
Got it.
because that's what you want. I mean, and again, for Avatar has pumped out for me a mailing list. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can pull out of Avatar if you know how to manipulate it. It depends on how sophisticated you are with it. And I haven't, because I don't use it other than to check stuff, I don't do it, but you can ask it to generate basically a report. And the parameters of the report are something that it sounds like you and probably Shelby would wanna learn how to do if you wanna make sure we're tracking the RVs.
I know there are a few ways to do reports too, so I could probably
Yeah.
find a few of them.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, the
Anything
insight.
else? No?
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't have anything else.
Nope.
And from the audience, no questions?
I
Thank
just
you.
wanna bring up again, I'd really like to see the town allocate a chunk of time to getting the website in a more useful situation. I know everyone's overworked, but, we're looking at a website that has inaccuracies and hard to navigate and stuff like that, and I just think that we're not fulfilling to the public by not putting it higher up on the list in terms of getting it really working nicely.
My goal is to have Heidi reach out to Town Cloud so she can meet with them and work on a way to get it.
Okay.
And that's also from a resident perspective,
Yeah,
so that might be it's a good thing.
I mean, it
That's
just, when stuff came over from the old website, it was as if somebody put it through a washing machine and then hung it out in any old way they wanted to or something, and so, I know.
it's a horrible design.
It is a horrible design, quite honestly, it is a horrible
All right,
design.
so,
That's.
Thank you.
There. I mean, it could operate better.
we understand.
Alright, thank you.
We have a lot of stuff that happened last year, so we're working.
Oh, I know, absolutely, and I appreciate everything that you're doing, and thank you for the time.
Thank you.
And remind me that you need the stuff about the Morris Avenue folks.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't get it from them.
Okay, no, I'll send you an email, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Alright, 5 o'clock, we do the transfer.
Yep, 5 o'clock.
So from Chuck and Kristen, my reports, basically, it's involved with working with the office all the time, so. Here a couple times a day,
You put a bunk bed in there for him, right?
almost.
Not yet, we
But
gotta wait for the new budget.
she's got me on speed dial, that's for sure. So, but I mean, I don't wanna go in,
Much cheaper,
hey?
hammocks are much cheaper.
So I can't go in details there, everything that we discuss and work on, so, but there's a lot. Caitlin, go ahead for your report, please.
Perfect. Alright. So, obviously finalized the transfer station ordinance for tonight's hopeful approval. Been working on drafting some warrants that are available and looking into other ones, which is, one is on the business for today. Also been starting to put together our annual town report, so a reminder to the boards and departments that those are going to be due on January 16th, so if you could please get those to me, I would appreciate it. Also into regards of the town annual report, I know we had a small discussion on this, but we'll have to have a bigger one for the board, for dedication for the annual report. So if we can plan something for that probably shortly. And then tomorrow I have a meeting with, Access GIS to start the setup for our new tax mapping software, so we can hopefully get that onto the site within the next couple months. That's all I have.
Okay.
I know, sorry, I was too quick.
I know. I'm gonna jump around a little bit, I'm gonna do the all veterans tax credit warrant. That's okay, I'm gonna it was brought to our attention that our veterans tax credit is, I don't know, what's the word?
It only applies to veterans
You're
that
better at
served
this.
during,
Limited.
Yeah,
that served during a conflict. And it doesn't apply to any veteran. So,
I'm gonna read it off. Shall the town vote to adopt the provisions for RSA 72:28-B, all veterans tax credit? If adopted, the credit will be available to any residents or spouse or surviving spouse or any resident who, one, served not less than 90 days of active service in the armed forces of the United States and was honorably discharged as an officer, honorably separated from the service and not eligible for or receiving a credit under RSA 72:28 or RSA 72:35. If adopted, the credit granted will be $500, that's the same amount as the standard or optional veterans tax credit voted by the town under RSA 72:28.
So in effect, if you're a veteran over 90 days, then you get the credit. The one we have in place now only says if you were in a conflict, you get the credit. So this broadens it to anybody and rewards everybody for
Yeah.
being a veteran.
And I think all three of us agree with it.
Yes.
So do we have to sign anything or?
You just gotta approve
Yeah, that's a
it.
warrant article, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a warrant article.
Be a
so
warrant
just,
article on that.
So next budget meeting, we'll get that. Next
That
week.
that one's technically a non-monetary.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure, budget will need that.
That doesn't go before the budget.
Okay, I'm good with that. Okay. Alright, so we'll hold off for a couple minutes.
we try public input.
What do you say?
Public comment.
Nah, we'll wait till after this.
If you want before, cause I know one question that was asked, regarding the transfer station. Which I know we'll have the public hearing here in a few minutes. I know there was a question regarding the propane tanks, and if there was a limit, there is no limit. I did get that answer today, so,
No limit as far as pickup?
as far as pickup, we personally can set one, but there's no limit.
Okay. So. Alright, so we'll have to make a determination of cutoff.
I still wanna sell one. I don't wanna have a bunch of tanks down there.
Oh, no, we'll make a cutoff, it's like 15 or whatever JT comes back with.
And also to add to it, I did have a very lengthy conversation with them today. They are very proactive in getting there, they kinda set up a routine type schedule. And during the busy seasons, they do try to plan to come out a few times a month to get those items. And the only charges are what they pick up, there's no transportation charges. So,
Well, it'll take us a little while to figure out what the schedule's gonna be anyhow.
yeah,
Right, and you were gonna contact JT,
I have an email into the fire marshal's office, but as of right now, there's no concern with how they're being stored. I would recommend the limit, and I think 15 is fair.
okay, I'm good with that.
15 what?
15 tanks,
tanks.
Thanks.
Right,
before we call for,
but what size? Cause we're gonna call for 15 of the small green ones.
that's tough. That's tough to say, yeah, I mean, cause you could have the 100-pounders. 5 of those versus, a grill tank.
So do you consider the small, the green ones are the small ones, right? Like,
Yeah, they're just.
Coleman tanks.
Camping tanks, yeah,
that, I mean, I would say 20-pounders, whatever, up.
yeah,
15 up,
15 of the larger tanks
yeah. That's,
from a grill tank up to the 100-pounder.
okay. Do we need to put that into the?
It can be a regular policy,
Yeah,
as long
it's
as,
just,
Good. Alright, it's 5 o'clock. Public hearing. I make a motion to open a public hearing as prescribed by RSA 41:9-A for the update of the transfer station fees. Am I gonna read off all these?
so for the public hearing itself, it's the fees that are being added, which are listed on that thing there, but you can also discuss the
This
changes
is-
that were made. You could use the front page that I had there, the notice that I posted up for each shape or two.
Oh, got it.
Those are the fees itself, but you can go over the changes that we made on it as well.
Who wants to read this?
Go ahead, Chuck.
You got a loud voice.
alright, fees will be new additions to the transfer station ordinance are as follows. 5 to 20 pound LP propane tanks, $1 each. 30 to 40 pound propane tanks, $2.50 each. 100 pound propane tanks, $5 each. 1 pound Coleman tanks, the camper tanks that you basically put on top of a table in a grill, $1 each. Helium tanks, $1.50 each. Foam insulation tanks, $2 each. Fire extinguisher, $5 each. CO2 tanks, $3.50 each. Miscellaneous tanks, oxygen, torch fuel, etc., $10 each. Tires, 22.5 inches to 26.5 inch diameter, 25 each. Farm tractor, like a rear tire, $75 each. Oversized tires, under and up to 25-inch loader tires, $150 each. Oversized tires, over 25 inches, $200 each. Off the road, 250 pounds to 750 pound tires, that's Wayland Jim, $100 each. And that seems to be only one
There-
page.
Yep, it's only one page, and on the top, these are only the fee changes, so on the top, it does mention the permit.
Permit fees will be changed from $1 to no charge. And that is the substance of those updates. Any question?
I have a question regarding the propane tanks.
That's mine.
Yes, please.
Is that, are they all required to have their valves removed?
No,
No, but they used to be, used to have some sort of a hole in it or something.
No.
correct, because they used to be, if they had a hole in it, they went in the metal. Now we have a vendor that's taking the tanks as is, and we never were able to take them,
Oh, okay.
so.
Yeah, if you got the valve off, the hole or whatever, you don't have to pay for it, we could throw that away into the steel container. But if not, you'll have to pay.
Okay, understood.
Right. And that's gonna be stored where, your oil container was down below. In the shed down below. The door's open, so it'll be open, basically, fire department's reviewed it and it'll be stored in that underground, that area. So, any additional questions? Yes,
Since there's no charge, are we still gonna be required for a permit, right?
in June,
That here or
Both,
at the,
It'll be both,
it'll be both?
unless,
unless if you're out of state and you have a second home here, you have to come here, do it through the mail.
Okay.
But
It'll be the same process
Just the
same process before, except no money.
So the first, I think it's 1st of June.
Correct.
And location change of the sticker, your decal
Yeah,
we're changing it to the lower right-hand corner of the windshield.
Okay.
And there'll be a lot of questions about that. We have 2 lanes at the transfer station. For those people that go there, you know that there's 2 lanes. The attendants, obviously there's one here tonight, can verify that as it is now, if somebody goes to the left-hand side lane, they have to go around and verify the sticker now. So you say, well, they're gonna have to go around to see the sticker on the passenger side. There's gonna be a learning curve, but given the laws, the rules, and where our inspection stickers, the RSAs and state statute state that nothing can be in the area of an inspection sticker by state statute. So by our own policy, we're asking people to violate state statute. So this gets rid of that worry, by placing it in the lower right-hand corner of your windshield.
If you know, if you, depend if you wanna place it in the middle, whatever, it's up to you, but, you know. But we're stating, okay, any additional questions? Yes,
The
Charlie?
Tires, the way the tire fees read, I think it would be confusing even to us employees how much to charge for what tire. Maybe you might wanna rethink that. There's a lot of entries that say oversized, well, but there's different fees, so. I didn't quite get that.
Well, the oversized is basically under and up to 25-inch loader tires, they're not regular car tires.
Alright,
That's the ones $150 each. Oversized tires, over 25-inch, $200. So that would be what?
The off-road tires that certain people put on pickup trucks and the off-road vehicles, the real heavy balloon type,
yeah,
heavy tire, that's an oversized tire.
Mud tires and swampers,
okay,
Yeah, it's not a regular passenger car or a truck, you know.
nor is it a tractor tire.
right. Well, one of us will be able to figure it out, I'm sure.
And I'm gonna tell you what I've said in this conversation before. We never had this opportunity for our residents. So these type of tires, because there was no means to dispose of them, were being disposed of in our town forest and on the side of the road.
I believe you.
With a means for an actual avenue to get rid of them, hopefully, the idea is to deter that and give an opportunity for somebody to get rid of these. I don't see this as being a common thing. You know, there was a question with skidder tires, how are we gonna handle that sort of thing? I don't really see that becoming a problem, but I see it as an opportunity for our taxpayers to get rid of something when the opportunity never existed before. And the way our policy was before, my own personal vehicle that I own now that I drive, I could not pay to dispose of my tires at the transfer station because I have 22-inch rims that come right from the factory on my truck. And that we only went up to a 20. So by doing this, and this fee schedule that we see as we printed it is what our vendor provided us. So that language and everything is what we wrote up, it's what the vendor gave us to post. So that's his fees, and we're not asking for anything above what it's gonna cost the town to in turn get rid of, so. It's just opportunity for the taxpayers to get rid of it without having to sit on it in the backyard or, God forbid, dump it on the side of the road somewhere.
Any additional questions, Charlie?
I don't have a question, but maybe an observation is a lot of the people that come in there don't recycle, and the people that do recycle don't know how to recycle. You know, a lot of them, and I was just wondering, would it be worth it to just have a one-page handout sheet, how to do those things and what they can and can't throw into the compactors? Because, we try to pick stuff out, but you know, a lot of the stuff gets by us.
There's actually, the vendor provides that already.
Caitlin?
Charlie, can I ask you one thing? Are you just talking in regards to like cardboard, plastic, like that type of stuff?
I mean, a lot of styrofoam gets into the household garbage, and a lot
So-
of people throw plastic bags into the recycle.
So what we can do, I believe, on appendix A of the ordinance itself, it explains what can go into where. I'm planning on printing, if all goes through here, printing a few things for the staff at the transfer station regarding to the ordinance, updated price list, I'll also add that too as handouts. So that way, if that is a benefit, I can do that.
That'd be good.
But I mean, also with the transfer station employees, you guys are observing what's going into the compactors, aren't you?
Well, we try, but I mean, you know, sometimes we get a whole rush of people, sometimes stuff gets by us, I mean.
Okay. Understand.
Handout's good,
And
I
I don't know,
like
I don't
that.
know if it makes any difference cost-wise, if we pay separate tonnages for the recycling, for the household garbage and for the demo.
Yes.
The problem-
Oh, or the demo, you talking, or the,
All of them, I mean, how much, you know, how much we pay per ton for each one, are they
yeah,
all the same?
they're separate, Yeah, all three are separate.
What's important with the compactors is we try and separate,
Yeah,
because they track the contamination. And if the contamination is too much, we get tagged for that,
Right.
exactly,
that's an extra billable.
that's it, that's all I had.
Thanks, Sean.
No, handout's a good idea, thank you.
Alright. So I need a motion to make it up.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve as long as there's no more further discussion.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the amended, changes to the transfer station, fee schedule and just
Just the ordinance.
in the ordinance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Simmons, aye.
Christine, aye. Why don't you sign that, and I'll put it back together. Thank you. Alright. JT, you're up.
Alright, a couple quick things, we discussed the propane piping, new regulator, and bringing us up to code for the generator installed at the fire station. Some of the piping that was there didn't meet code and was pretty scary actually, so all that's been brought up to date. The total cost was $3,597, we discussed taking that out of the trust fund, so I have the voucher for the board to sign for that.
That was our total cost for the,
From
General.
AmeriGas, yes.
oh, for that,
That's for all the piping and the regulator and that stuff. We did get a load of sand as well to backfill the trenches. That was a cost of $310. Where would the board like that to come from? Would we like to use operating budget, or would we like to take that out of the generator trust fund as well? It was part of the generator project, so I think it meets the description, but
Road fund.
oh, sorry, I didn't see a budget actually.
Yeah, we can just take it out of the building, the materials list.
the invoice is dated January 6, 2025, so it could come out of a 2025 budget.
Charlie, thanks for coming in.
Road material.
Thank you, Charlie. See you tomorrow. You wanna do it on the roads?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, just take it out of the materials budget.
Yeah.
It's materials, so.
It's material, just take out the budget.
I'll provide that back to Michelle then. And the last thing, we received documentation from Generator Connection, they're taking the old generator off the service plan, putting the new one on. There's no fee owed, it'll be in line with the other two generators until September. However, they did provide us an opportunity, the generator comes with a 5-year parts and labor warranty included. They gave us an option to extend that out to 10 years. It's full labor and parts coverage for 10 years on anything that could go wrong with that generator for $1,000.
That's it?
So I wanted to extend that to the board and see if we felt that was a good, I think it's a good investment. I mean,
$100 a year? Well, no, what more?
200 a year.
and they'll cover any major repair that needs to be done to that generator for the next 10 years.
And they start, I mean, after year 5 and 6 is when you start
Is that a
seeing.
one-time?
Mine's
job?
already started, 2
Yes.
years.
Oh, I see, okay.
And to be clear, that's not the preventative maintenance that we pay every
No.
year, that's separate, this is just a warranty extension.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
I
and
agree.
Yeah,
where would we like to pay that from, should we take that from the trust fund or
No, not $4,000.
operating budget? Okay,
Operating budget, but,
We could put that for 2025 expense, that could go under 4194. There's a municipal building,
you need one,
what's that actually?
so I wouldn't see a problem with
like a leftover one?
4194.
Michelle's slacking.
Well, no, she doesn't really have one to give us, so.
Oh, she doesn't? Can we put that in the building expenses, the,
building maintenance.
or generator?
Building maintenance. The only, we could take it from the generator maintenance line item from the emergency management budget, however, it wasn't budgeted for, it wasn't planned for. That amount is typically exactly what we need to cover the preventative maintenance costs, so it would put us over that line if,
But I don't have a problem with that, because I like to just make sure it stays all within that generator,
I agree.
and we can deal with it at the end of this year. So that we don't forget about it, so hey, we gotta add $1,000 for
Cleaner.
next year.
It's cleaner that way.
That's cleaner, that's, well, we won't have to add, but it's cleaner.
Well, we could add it to that, and then, I mean, we're operating on 2025 expenditures, we could
Right.
always, you know, be proactive and try to remember in March when we get to town meeting to add $1,000 to that, make a motion to add $1,000 to that. Or do it before the budget hearing, but I don't wanna
Yeah,
muddy the water too much there for David and the budget committee members, but, or just do the overage.
I just do the overage,
Okay.
$1,000. I mean, if we were talking 5, 10,000, then, yeah.
Yeah, right, that's a different story.
Yeah. Agree? Okay. What
That's all I
else?
got.
Really? Okay. The windmill, Rumney Hill windmill. I said,
Yeah, so I was asked by Mr. Argenti, he stated that I was tasked with that, so I just need to be some clarification on what the violation is by them, by it's not operating. Cause I don't know what the original permitting thing was, so do you know any of the back history of the?
At the point in time it had come to our attention, I believe nothing had been going on with it. And it had been sitting there. Which caused some zoning issues that need to be removed from a select board standpoint with a notification. I believe you found out subsequent to that there actually had been some work done on it. Which then puts it into a whole different light, that it's not a select board removal because it's actually was repair work being done.
do we have it
But I
address?
don't know where the status of that is at this point in time, whether it's running or not running or anything like that.
Do we have the address of the owner?
I don't know what
I can easily
information.
get
Yeah.
that, that's.
So why don't we just send a letter?
Yeah, and I mean, I can tell you it's not, you know, I'll tell you this, and I'll say it right now, when I said to Jerry the other day, it's not running, you can see it going up Colquitt Hill Road,
Yep.
you know, there are several locations, and from another road, you can see it's not spinning. But I've seen it on several occasions, and it appears to me like a lot of work has been done to it.
When we looked into it, and I'm gonna go back and look at notes, but my recollection was because it was not a functioning windmill, it needed to be removed.
Because it was put in after zoning,
Do not know the answer specifically to that question, but it had to do the way our zoning was set up and the fact that it was not functional, it required it to be taken out. And I know they got a letter, which started the conversation, and then boards changed, select boards changed. I don't know what the follow-up.
So if they're working on it, let's say if they are doing maintenance to it and stuff like that, that's a
If
different,
they notify the board that they're working on it to bring it back to
let's get a letter out to,
a running status,
Ravel,
but if they're not physically repairing it to get it running, then it's supposed to be removed.
just, state that from the zoning standpoint, da-da-da-da-da. We should try that first.
Yeah, and there should be some, I thought that there should be a letter already somewhere, cause we did send a letter.
I'll take as a board, as a selectman or another board?
It would come out of the selectmen, but it was a
Okay.
result of talking with Rebecca. So it had to come from the selectmen to the owner.
Oh, just like some of them.
I'll do a little bit of work on that, and I'll look just to see if the previous one too.
Y'all agree with that?
Yep.
Start with that process first.
And then in the meantime, I'm gonna, I mean, I haven't familiarized myself with the zoning regulation. I mean, not doubting anybody, don't get me wrong, but I just need to familiarize myself with,
No, there's a
Why it has
whole,
to-
there's a whole section in there that talked about it.
talks about windmills and.
How old is that? And,
I don't know, Steve, to be honest with you.
I'm just asking, does it have any historical,
No,
No.
okay,
No,
cause that would be it.
cause I could see it from my house sometimes.
Yeah, when you go up on Concord Hill, you can see it too, looking back.
I mean, with those lots being cut on Nutter Road,
Yeah,
do you have a clear view of it? And you can clearly see it's not spinning, but to be, in the area of it, it's like. Looks to me like, I mean, for a long time, you couldn't even see it from the ground, you know what I mean? Cause it was growing up and that's not the case, so.
next item, IT services.
Do you wanna take control of that one, JT? So I think you might have,
So basically, we've discussed, we've looked over 3 different proposals from 3 different firms. I think we're all in agreement that Lakes Region Computer is the most appropriate choice based on their proposal, their experience, and their references,
I agree.
And their cost.
and their cost, yes.
So we did get 3 bids. In Lakes region, or our existing, supplier is not very good. Huh? But, I know. So, we met, was it yesterday, and, between the 3 suppliers, we all agreed to go with Lakes Region's computer. So, if you wanna give the additional information?
I guess we'd open it up to questions, I mean, I
But
don't think
it's a computer service contract in the
Yeah.
town.
it's a multi-page, very in-depth contract with them to provide all the services we're looking for to bring us up to date and get us into compliance, which we have some issues with now, so. The contract has been sent to Primex for review, so I guess a motion to accept it pending that review.
Make a motion that we accept Lakes Region's computer as our supplier,
Pending Primex.
pending Primex review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do you wanna have any conversation
Conversations?
before we?
Anybody have questions?
Siemens eye.
See you.
Procedure.
I know.
Standardized contract. Technology service.
What announcements?
I didn't put one on there, but it would be good to just give an announcement, we'll do it again at our next meeting. We're gonna have the bond hearing for the road bond and public safety bond. That's gonna be January 28th at 4:30, right? Yeah, 4:30, with a snow date of February 4th. And that will be getting into the newspaper and the postings will be on later this week, beginning of next.
Got it. Public comment. Wow,
Going on.
you came in late.
Everybody's done really good on my road. They've done really, really good.
As far as plowing,
Plowing has done really good.
how's potholes?
I just got here, so, I mean, that's the only public comment I can make, but Elliot's done very good.
Okay.
On my road,
And there are some nasty potholes on his road too.
so
We
they're,
talked about potholes and how that rain and that little bit of a thaw raised havoc with some of the dirt roads and
good.
having a conversation about what we could possibly do about some of them, but.
I don't know, there's not much you can do right now. I mean, the rain made it terrible, but in general, he's done very good. After we talked about it the last meeting, he's now gone past where he should, or not where he should, but he's gone past, what's his face's house and.
Grover's and-
Grover's house,
yeah.
and he's plowed to the point that he's supposed to.
Good.
And he's made it
Wider.
known that he's done very good, like I have no complaints. right
Glad
now.
to hear that, thank
So
you.
that's
Thank you.
I mean. Yeah. He does as good as he can, so I'm glad for him for doing what he does.
And from a procedural standpoint, that is Patrick Murphy from Wilson Swamp Road.
I knew he was on Wilkinson Swamp Road. Any other public comment? None? Alright, we're gonna, go into a non-public. RSA 91-A:3, 2, low A.
Second,
Fuller eye.
Siemens eye.
Seeing eye. No comments? Discussion?
It's alright, I tried to tell you we're almost done.
Yes. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.